authorized it. So there's terminology here. Well, now through the years, we've got once 50 countries actually ratified, which was Honduras, 90 days after is when it entered into force. So now we're up to 59 countries have ratified. That means it goes into law. Meanwhile, 86 countries have signed. So what they do is they have to, once they've signed, they have to go back through their own governments to implement this. So what's new is that this coming March 22nd to the 24th in Vienna, there'll be the first meeting of the state parties. So the state parties is what's the term used for those countries that are ratified. And they will be, they actually they were going to do that this month, but they had to accommodate the new schedule for the Non-Proliferation Treaty Review Conference. So it was at the NPT, the Non-Proliferation Treaty Review Conference in New York City in 2015, where Ardis Platte and Carol Gilbert were among those that helped create this treaty. So we have they're considered members of ours, of the Michigan South and Nuclear Bombs campaign. And that's a segue, this is not a highly organized talk, but a segue to honoring 5 peace activists who have left us, made their transition recently. So I'm in honor of Motoko Hathwaite, who passed of COVID on May 4th, 2020. Ardis Platte on September 30th, 2020. Desmond Tutu, December 26th, 2021. Jim Forrest, just last week, January 13th, 2022. And then Thich Nhat Hanh made his transition yesterday, at the age of 92. So his energy is in this room. I'm getting feedback that his spirit is very much with us. As I was making my new sign last evening, I was listening to his transition it was live on YouTube. So there were people from around the world listening in. It was actually filmed, I think, at his center. So now, as far as what you can do, there's a handout that Carolyn will help hand out of what you can do to celebrate the treaty. It includes, of course, contacting our legislators because, of course, the United States is not only not involved, they're resisting up until now. They're not wanting anything to do with it. If you notice, there's nothing in the media. There were press releases sent out, thanks to Laura Dewey. So I'm not sure if we have any media except Peter Werby. And but it is up to over 600 organizations globally are involved. Some of there's a whole handout of the interfaith groups, the major churches in the country are involved. Here locally, there's 3 directions that I'm currently involved with virtual monthly meetings, and you're welcome to join. One is the nuclearban.us, connecting with leaders around the country. There's the Mayors for Peace, is a new initiative with a focus on trying to get the mayors of at least, goals at least 10 cities in Michigan to sign up and to help approach our legislators from that angle. And then there's the Oak Ridge Environmental Peace Alliance, which many of you know of. Their website is central to having the resources. There's about 4 or 5 different active working groups. And let's see, Felice, John Coppa, and Jack, or going to be making a video of any pictures or the videos that come through today. So last year there is a video that's really powerful of approximately 100 events around the country. And today, they're starting to stream in. So it'll be exciting. In other words, I want you to get a sense that this is the action in progress. At the same time, we're celebrating the first anniversary, so I brought some Valentine cupcakes to celebrate. The only other thing I can point out is that just to encourage you to look at the information, pick things up. One of the speakers, I'm jumping around here, but one of the speakers, Cecilia Turlo, I heard speak in 2015, and she's central to this treaty. She was a leader in the ICANN movement. She was there when Beatrice Finn, the coordinator, accepted the Nobel Peace Prize. And so it was the voice of the Hibakusha, the survivors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the downwinders, people who have been personally affected that are behind this treaty. So there's been a shift from just looking at policies and nuclear facts into shifting, saying this is a humanitarian crisis. And now with the President Biden at Camp David this weekend, the security team, the diplomacy failing along the Ukrainian border, all of a sudden there's this fierce urgency of now to do what we can. And this is something positive we can be for. So I think that's about the essence of what I want to say. Again, help yourself to the information and keep learning and sharing. And thank you for coming. Thank you.
Okay, Laura.
Yes, I can wear my glasses both at the same time. We invited several Congress people to be here, and Rashida Tlaib could not be here, but she responded. So I'm going to read her response. But before I say that, I'm going to mention that she is one of the co-sponsors of Eleanor Holmes Norton's bill to transfer money from nuclear weaponry to human needs. So we really praise her for that. Andy Levin sponsored that same bill last year. He has not signed on to the new bill introduced this year. I'm sure he will if a few of us give him a call and say, hey, what gives? So I'm pretty sure we'll have two co-sponsors to help Eleanor Holmes Norton out. So here's Rashida Tlaib's statement. I'm not Rashida Tlaib. I cannot project, I'm not a good speaker like she is. But anyway, here's what she said.
Thank you.
Thank you to the event sponsors for holding such an important event in commemorating the treaty and the prohibition of nuclear weapons today. I am sorry that I cannot be there with you in person, but please know you have a partner in me when it comes to making a world a safer place now and for generations to come. As a mother of two wonderful boys, I work hard to ensure that I do all I can to leave the world better than I found it. These days, I know it takes a little bit more of a push for all of us to see brighter days ahead, but I want you all to know that because of your work, brighter days are absolutely ahead. I am a proud endorser of the TPNW. To me, it is a no-brainer that we end the use and the threat of the use of nuclear weapons. They should have no place in our society. With the TPNW, nuclear weapons are subject to a global ban treaty for the first time, at last aligning nuclear weapons with other weapons of mass destruction, all already the subject of treaty-based prohibitions. The majority of Americans want the United States to join the treaty, and I will continue to push that we do so. I thank you all for your tireless work. It's your work on the ground, your organizing on every level of government that will make the day that the United States signs onto the treaty a reality. Know that I will be right there fighting alongside with you every step of the way. Thank you.
Yay.
You can always call the legislators say thank you when they do something right.
That's right.
They don't get enough of those.
Yes.
That's right.
Good point.
So, let Rashida Tlaib know that we appreciate her work for the abolition of nuclear weapons. We started this week with the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Reverend King said something like this: we can get civil rights and economic power, but it will all go to waste if there is a nuclear bomb. Coretta Scott King followed up with the same idea, and she spoke about nuclear abolition. So there's a movement that's been going on. This year began with Presidents Biden and Putin renewing the New START Treaty, which limits nuclear weapons deployed to 1,500. However, both countries are modernizing their nuclear weapons like crazy.
Right, yeah.
They have in the United States, a ground-based strategic deterrent. They haven't come up with a clever name yet. But the GBSD will cost millions, and it's supposed to replace all 400 ICBMs that we already have. Unnecessary. Nuclear weapons are really dangerous in those ICBMs because a president has only 30 minutes to decide whether or not to launch them. No man should have that kind of power for such a short time to act. And the U.S. is planning hypersonic, super hypersonic missiles that go 5 times faster than the speed of sound. So we are really up against a new nuclear arms race. That's where we need you all to work on. And I want you to know that there's some momentum on our side, okay? 1,600 legislators from around the world have signed the pledge to campaign for the abolition of nuclear weapons for the treaty. That's right, 1,600. And we happen to have 10 people so far in Congress who have signed the pledge to advocate for the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons Treaty. Of those 10, one of them is Rashida Tlaib. Yes, yes. We got a response from Representative Andy Levin. And the response was, I believe in the cause, and I'm working on the abolition of nuclear weapons, but I don't sign a pledge on future legislative action. Well, that's not good enough.
No.
So we need to keep on Andy Levin's case. We did not receive a response from Brenda Lawrence, except that she was going to be voting today, but the House isn't in session today. I don't understand that. And we didn't get a response from Debbie Dingell. But those are probably your representatives.
Yep.
And so what we want to ask you to do is to contact them. It needs to be explained usually by email, and the green sheet will give you all the ways to do that with the short message to send. Now, today is January 22nd, and it's the 1-year anniversary. I'm committing, and this is dangerous because you all will remember this, on the 22nd of every month, I'm going to do something to support the treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons. So everybody, on the 22nd, okay?
We're with ya.
And you should know that this momentum includes there are institutions who are taking their investments out of companies that make nuclear weapons.
Right.
That's really great. You should know that there is the U.S. Conference of Mayors They meet every August. And last August, they passed a resolution in support of the treaty and the prohibition of nuclear weapons. And that was unanimous among those mayors. So there is momentum.
There's hope.
There is hope. Now, back to reality. January 3rd, 5 countries, let's see, US, Russia, France, Germany, Great Britain, put out a statement. And they echoed President Reagan and President Gorbachev. A nuclear war cannot be won, and a nuclear war must never be fought. It was a good statement. But they're not doing anything about it. So that's what we have to work on, is the concrete steps towards nuclear disarmament. So, the danger is always nuclear winter. If there is a nuclear war, like even a small one between Pakistan and India, there'll be a nuclear winter. Won't be able to grow crops around the world. It'll be devastating.
Today's weather every day.
Yes, the grayest weather every day.
No coffee.
No coffee, no tea. It won't work. So we're up against nuclear winter, and I thank you for coming out in the wintertime to do this. Lon, go ahead.
Just stand up, this mask might make it hard to hear me. I'd like to point out that in an article that I read, it pointed out that the land-based missiles are the most vulnerable part of our nuclear deterrent, and that we could completely do away with them and still have enough in our naval submarine fleets, our nuclear submarine fleet, to inflict enough damage to detour. So this whole idea that we need all these land-based missiles is a lot of crap.
That's right. And another point along with that is that those 400 out in North and South Dakota and so forth, they can act as a sponge to draw Russia's nuclear weapons, bombs into that area.
Right.
Now, those people out there west, they don't need that. They do not need to act as a target.
They
So-
need water and electricity.
They need water and electricity. They need wind power and so forth. We need the Green New Deal. We know that. So, when you leave, make sure you sign on one of the clipboards on those 2 tables and take a green sheet. This will tell you exactly how to follow up. So, a little bit of cheer as we close. Repeat after me.
Okay.
We who believe in peace
We who believe in peace
will not stop
will not stop
until it comes.
until it comes.
We who believe in justice
We who believe in justice
will not stop
will not stop
until it comes.
until it comes.
We who believe in nuclear disarmament
We who believe in nuclear disarmament
will not stop
will not stop
until it comes.
until it comes.
We who believe in the treaty
We who believe in the treaty
will not stop
will not stop
until it comes.
until it comes.
Give yourself a hand and go get it. Good.
Those are the
Let's
things.
hear some more.